This video has quite a bit of vocabulary. First, let's talk about what it means to be a factor. A factor are numbers multiplied together to get another number. And we need to know what that is, or we need to know what factors are if we're going to find what's called the greatest common factor, often abbreviated by GCF. So first, factors of 12. If I asked you to find the factors of 12, I'm asking you to find all the numbers that multiply together to get 12. So always start small and work your way up. That's the most organized way. So 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. And 3 times 4 is 12. So these are all of the pairs of numbers that multiply together to get 12. These are what's known as factors. So 12 has 6 factors. How many factors does 18 have? Again, let's start small. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 times nothing, 5. Does 5 go into 18, or do we multiply anything by 5 to get 18? No. And 6, which we've already listed. So, right, 6 times 3, and then 9 times 2, and 18 times 1. So this one here also has 6 common factors, or 6 factors. We haven't found any common yet. So 18 has 6 factors. How about 21? 1 times 21, 2, no. 3, yes. 3 times 7, 4, no. 5, no. 6, no. 7, yes. And we've already listed it. So that's kind of how you know that you're done. So 21 has 4 factors. All right, 35, 1 times 35, and I think the only other pair is 5 times 7. So here we've listed out all the factors of 35. So this is where you need to be really good at your multiplication facts, so that way we can start to expand our concepts of what we know about multiplication into, well, factoring. All right, so let's see, prime. Prime numbers are when the only factors of a number are itself and 1. So, for example, the number 19. What are the only 2 numbers that multiply together to get 19? 1 and 19. Or how about, like, I don't know, 23. Yep, 1 times 23. Those are the only pair of numbers that multiply together to get that number. So when the only factors of a number are itself and the number 1, those numbers would be considered prime. All right, relatively prime. This is when we start to compare 2 or more numbers. So we're comparing the factors of 2 numbers. So let's compare the factors of 18 and 21. First, we want to know what all of the common factors are. So let's check it out. We have 1 and 1. We've got 3 and 3. Anything else in common? No. So here we have a greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is 3. Now, does that mean that they're relatively prime? Relatively prime is when 1 is the only common factor. Well, 1 was a common factor, but it wasn't the only one. So 18 and 21 are not relatively prime. All right, let's compare. Let's still look at the factors of 18, but now let's compare it to the factors of 35. What do we have in common? And is there more than one thing in common? So let's check it out. 1 and 1. 2, no. 3, no. 6, no. 9, 18, no. So 18 and 35, the greatest common factor is 1, and it's the only common factor. So 18 and 35 are relatively prime.